Okay, look, yeah, because I'm gonna bring it back to
Welcome
that
to another
bullshit.
Three Aficionados, bringing in with that Sukasa. We talk about all things analog, cars, watches, just an excuse to have a drink together. And we have recently lost our member Chris to the audience now. He has boycotted us, so we're just talking to ourselves. I'm just kidding. Chris, you're still around. Hopefully, you're still listening. All right, boys. So today I think we're going to pop it off and talk about some major reveals to our collections. I think that's the big thing that we've got to announce. We'll talk a little bit about Volcane Cricket. We can talk about maybe updates to the garage and the plans that we previously had to maybe acquire the STO and facing the luxury tax issues and maybe other additions to the car. And I'm just going to shut up and we'll just get to that whenever we get to that. But we're going to pop it off and crack these drinks.
Oh yeah.
Cheers, boys.
Cheers, guys.
Cheers.
Gonna pour one
Good
out.
to see all of you. What do you guys got drinking there?
I've never ever tried this before, but it was on sale for like $8 the other day, and I'm like, might as well try it. It's like a Deca vodka soda or something like that. It's actually surprisingly pretty reasonable for a vodka soda, but
For the
it's
can,
better than
or like multiple cans were $8.
Man, inflation
No,
is killing you guys in
it's
Alberta.
like
$8 a can.
$8. No, not yeah. For a 6-pack, it was $8.
Nice.
Which I don't know. That's reasonable.
How is that that vodka soda there?
It's okay. It's not bad. I like most of them are pretty like subpar, but this one's actually pretty good. So yeah.
Lowered expectations from Peter.
Yeah.
Daniel, what's in your stein there? No Kraken.
No, none of that tonight. I just have a nice tea with some honey. You know, for that. Trying to support all the beekeepers out there, you know.
Get your Birkenstocks
So
out.
there we go. Get my
Butter
Birkenstocks out
jacket.
there. Go out there. Have a tea. Look for Sasquatch. They're the natural beekeepers of the wild. And go from there. What do you got drinking on?
I got my grocery store non-alcoholic or 0.3% alcoholic IPA. Yeah, it's actually pretty good for a non-alcoholic beer. Pretty enjoyable.
More
I'm
alcohol.
Yeah, I feel like it's still alcoholic. You know, it's 0.3. That might be a stretch. I feel like this is like the frozen yogurt episode of Seinfeld where they're like, is it really non-fat frozen yogurt? And then everybody just gets fat. Yeah, I feel like we're shotgunning this every single hour. You'd definitely get a buzz on, but at least you get reflux.
Is that your professional medical opinion?
That's my professional medical opinion. Well, it's not so professional. I don't know if I have too much professional, but yeah. Cheers, boys.
Your field. Cheers.
Good to see you.
Let's pop it off, Steve.
Yeah. Popping. What are you popping on your watch?
Me. I get to go first today. All right.
You always.
Well, this is nice. Oh, that's how it is. I've got my beautiful Victorinox Dive-Master, which I have worn religiously for the last 6 months. Some other watches have kind of come in and out of the rotation, but this has been my go-to for the last long while. I think in part because I've been traveling quite a bit, and this thing is just a tank. So I may have shared the story with you guys. I can't remember if I did on here or not, so forgive me, but when I was staying in a hotel and I was my classic bull in a china shop self, just swinging my arms as I'm walking around the room, and like I hear a big smash and I realized that I'd knocked this watch off of one of the wooden chairs in the room, and in fact there's not a scratch on the watch, but there was a chunk of wood stuck into the bracelet and bezel of it, which I then just took out and threw in the garbage. So it's it's like a Swiss Army knife watch, or a Swiss Army hatchet, just like messing stuff up, whatever it comes in contact with. Perfect travel watch.
Knock it off like Daniel. Knock that wood. Chop it. Peter, what are you chopping and knocking?
I'm chopping with the Tudor today, the Tudor Black Bay Bronze, or as I like to call it, the Bronze Bay. But it is. I actually haven't worn. Well, I don't know. It was still. It was still running this morning when I put it on. So obviously I've had it on the last couple of days. But yeah, I've been wearing I've been trying to mix it up a little bit more. But I've been wearing my G-Shock a lot just because it's just so easy and was working and it's working out and things like that. I just find it easy to do. You can take it in the pool. I've took it in the pool a ton of times kind of thing recently. So, but yeah, this thing is no, it's definitely I think it's probably one of the most beautiful watches in my collection. I just like the way it looks and how everything kind of just fits together. I really like the biggest thing. I really need a new bracelet, but I also really like the color of this bracelet. I think it just goes well with the watch. So
I
I
think
don't
it's
know.
gaining a nice patina all along, not
It
just
is.
the case, but also on the strap, the NATO
Yeah.
strap.
That's not patina. That's dead skin.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, a
it's
little bit
DNA.
flakiness.
It's Peter DNA.
There you go.
Sasquatch DNA all over that.
That's right.
Since you brought up your G-Shock, do you think it's working towards the earning the designation of paramedic proof?
Yeah, it seems like it's the thing I like about it is the fact that it's just like don't have to worry about it at all kind of thing. Like I try to wear it almost every time I'm at work, and I don't use it a ton for specifically counting seconds on it kind of thing. I don't really hit the timer kind of thing too often, but I use it to check the time all the time, and I do use the because it does count the seconds right on it kind of thing. So I also do use that to if you need to count respirations or pulses. But yeah, overall, I find it super, super good. I would say it's probably paramedic proof. I mean, I wore COVID testing and then I haven't gotten anything too nasty on it yet, luckily. But
If
You
you
have
if
had
you
to
have
shake
the
my
opportunity-
hand.
yeah,
if you have the opportunity when you interact with someone going through a moment of psychosis, if you could just pat the G, see if it's also psychosis proof, that'd be great. We need an extra level, make sure it can really sustain some intense shit.
a little bit
So
extra
yeah,
level.
the paramedic proof plus
Yeah.
psychosis safe or something of that nature. Yeah.
Speaking
Let's
of
go to the,
paramedic proof, I think
yeah.
that Peter's got to automatically share his news. I think that's a perfect. We're gonna have to break the typical pattern because I'm not that important. Peter, do you want to give the intro? And it's slow. My shit internet signal. Are you there?
Yep. Oh, I think we're good now.
Yeah. We're back.
Keep on going there.
Okay.
Keep on rolling, cowboy.
We're back in action. Okay, anyways, I've been looking around kind of thing, looking for kind of something that I would consider acquiring to the collection that would have been kind of cheaper, well, maybe not necessarily to work and something that I can still kind of find usable. So I've been looking around quite a bit, and I think I finally chose the Boulder Field Medic. And yeah, I don't unfortunately have any photos to show you, but if you guys want to look it up, since it's on the podcast, you definitely can.
Well,
It's
I did
called-
just
yeah, there we go.
their signal and screw up the show for this, so I dropped these images that you shared with us earlier.
Yeah, so that's exactly it right there in the photos. I preferred, I think, on the rubber strap just because I think it'd be a lot easier to clean and stuff like that. So this would be another one to test out to see if it's paramedic proof, but I think it's kind of cool. It's a chronograph. It's got a whole bunch of different it says you count your it has your respirations and stuff like that right on the dial, which is kind of interesting. And it's kind of cool. Like if you look it up in separate photos, the whole white part of the dial completely looms up. Like it's not just specifically the markers or anything like that. So it looks really, really cool in the dark. So I think it'll be interesting to see how it works. But yeah, I think the white's kind of a classic timeless look. I feel like I kind of like juggle between the two, but I mean, I think the white just kind of just really just stuck out to me. But the case back's kind of cool. It has like a little like the first responder symbol kind of thing on it. So yeah, it'll be interesting. It'll be kind of cool to see what it looks like.
And can I ask you why the brand name is Joan Rivers?
No
It says this on the Watch Gecko link that you sent right here.
Yeah,
Really, Joan Rivers?
Joan Rivers.
Rivers. That's funny. So cool. Yeah, I looked around for a little bit for like I've been kind of just in the back of my mind, like just looking as to be like something that would be kind of a cool like purpose-built watch for what it is. And yeah, this is kind of one that stuck out to me for kind of just like the price point. And there was a few others, but I think this one's just kind of cool. It's just it's a little bit different. It's quartz movement. It's a little bit smaller. It's like 38 millimeters. So this guy's obviously got a pretty tiny wrist because it looks pretty big on that. It will
Not as
yeah.
impressive as Peter's wrist, so obviously.
Yeah,
Not
like,
anything girthy.
It is not
Yeah.
Sasquatch proof.
No, I think it'll look
That's
a little
watch
bit
safe.
smaller, but I think that'll also be good because like this thing's really large, and I find like I honestly hit this watch off stuff probably more than I almost hit any watch
Yeah.
off of it because of the size of it. Like it's just so big, and it's like, but I think that'd be important with that.
Both of you guys knocking it off.
Yeah, yeah. When you said
Nice watch.
little pieces of wood stuck in it, I laugh because I've done that before. They're like inside the bezel and like little chips of wood. But yeah, anyway, so this is we'll see what happens. Like I don't know how long it's gonna take to get here, but yeah, this will hopefully maybe be here by the next podcast or something like that. But
Congratulations, that's awesome.
thank you.
And you got a
Very cool.
paramedic discount?
I
there?
like the
Yes.
Nice.
good.
It was, and so technically the strap was just thrown in, which was kind of nice. So because the strap was like which worked out in the end. So I didn't really specifically like the NATO strap's cool, but I just don't think it'd be that useful. Like you actually like you get anything liquidy on that, and it's just gonna absorb it, right? So I felt like the rubber was probably the most useful in that sense. So,
Very cool.
Yeah.
Very nice.
what's on your wrist there, Mr. Steve?
Yeah, so I guess mine is a slight reveal as well. I think we already alluded to it before in the past, but right now sporting the Cartier Santos, not Santos de Cartier, not Santos Dumont, but it is on the leather strap. I paid for the upgrade alligator black strap instead of the tan strap that it normally comes on as stock, and I think it's perfect in this kind of iteration. I actually prefer it than compared to the metal bracelet, which I also have, but I think it just suits much more of its function on a leather strap. It just looks so formal, but it's nice that it has a versatility to it. But I just find this is its right kind of way that you should wear it if you have the choice and you have the luxury to be able to wear multiple watches. So I haven't actually taken it off of this strap since I got the Santos, and I think it's great. I think that also the size looks right much more when it's on the leather strap. My wife usually says when it's on the metal bracelet that it looks a little effeminate, but I think that that's just mostly my wrists rather than the watch. Yeah, I really like it. It's pretty awesome. It's been it was really nice to come home to after being in France. I was like craving this watch the most to wear while I was there, but I was very mindful of the fact that someone could totally run up on a moped and rip it right off my wrist. And yeah, so I was trying to be careful, and of course, stupidly brought my Kermit, which is worth more. I was very careful about that, and most people can't even spot a Kermit. And when I was on the streets, I was actually wearing the Moonswatch, so I would just have the Kermit pocketed and out of sight. So that was my wise move there. Yeah,
Totally.
I feel like it's actually pretty cool to wear, but it would also be one that I would be like, I don't think that this is a one watch kind of situation to travel with. Although if you had the bracelet and the strap, maybe. But I feel like that would be kind of a liability to carry around the strap and the bracelet. And that's the other thing is like you can't just take this off the wrist and just conceal it. So you'd basically just have to wear the bracelet, but then the bracelet also doesn't collapse down. So that's the thing about like taking a Kermit or most Rolexes is they'll just like kind of flatten out and you can put it in a watch pouch and just shove it in your pocket. Whereas this is like always kind of like it's like walking around with a big bulky thing that's in your wrist, in your pocket. Yeah, so pretty cool. I like it a lot. What do you think? Strap or bracelet?
Beautiful. I go for either, depending, like you said. If you have the luxury of having a lot of watches to fly through, kind of a thing, then why not keep it on the one bracelet or strap that you prefer? But I think I have like maybe like a 60-40 split where I like the strap over the bracelet, but I still love the bracelet, like
Yeah.
the bracelet, it still looks stunning on the bracelet. So
The great
I
thing
mean,
is that
maybe
you
your
have
wife
that.
is just more masculine,
She
but
is. But the great thing about it is that you have that luxury where you can just push this and then it comes right out and you put with the easy strap switch. I can't remember the exact name. The easy links here. You can pop this right out by pressing this and it'll come right out rather than having to worry about spring bars and spring bar tools. So you really don't need a tool. You just need a fingernail. So fingernail it
Mhm.
up. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean they could make it really classy and give it Velcro, but they chose not to do that.
Well, I think that's pretty much a perfect segue to something that does have Velcro, so you can go shit on that then. I thought I'd do a nice little reveal for another uh, piece of evidence that shows that I have a problem. This is
Uh-oh.
brand new acquisition, the Tudor Pelagos FXD, making the trade up from the silver Black Bay 58 925. Let that one go, and so we got the call on the FXD. So that
Are we doing an unboxing right now?
we're doing an
We're
unboxing.
gonna get 100 million views.
Yeah, we're doing a shitty unboxing where it happens off camera. Because I'm
No,
gonna
no.
hold it like it's like a little platter here. Here's
There's
the
more suspense this way. It's better.
yeah, and then I probably just drop it on the fucking floor, and then you can hear the thing. Here's the doily, and this is the symbol, and then here I'm gonna drop the outer box. We'll open the inner box. I'm just gonna describe what the fuck's going on because I just
Yeah,
don't.
can you show your inner box nice up close to
I'm
the
gonna
camera, please?
First, you need to look at my outer box, and then I'm gonna drop the outer box, and then pull out the inner box, and then pull this out, and not drop it. There it is.
Oh yeah. Do better though. We can barely see it on
Oh, fuck off.
camera.
Do better. Right, so here it is. It's the nicest of Velcro that isn't Velcro. It's whatever.
What did they call it? Like the self-adhesion strap?
It's itchy pube strap.
Man, that watch is so freaking sweet.
I gotta carefully take the cartier off here. Yeah, so
Congratulations.
we've talked about the FXD many times. It's the Marine Nationale iteration, well, the new Marine Nationale collaboration that was developed with the French Navy. And so you actually see on the case back, which you can't even see with the strap. But if I pull it forward, you can see that there is an engraving MN, and then it's the year. So because it's 2022, I guess this is the second year. So maybe some people might say it's not as collectible. And then you got the little ship and anchor of the Marine Nationals. Yeah, so pretty cool to have that. And I may like
cool.
snuck it out on the wrist a couple times because obviously when the moment that I collected it, I had to try it out. And it is initially when you look at it under this kind of like artificial lights, you don't quite get it, but once you get it into the field and you put it on the wrist, it sits perfectly because it's got a titanium case, so it doesn't roll around too much. There's not too much heft, although it is a 42 millimeter. And I'd say the thickness is perfect. doesn't sit too high. And then you got the full gradient bezel that supports their specific job duty function, which is basically for the purpose of the Marine Nationale that they had this in mind for. There was like a lead follow tag team between these two divers. And so they're basically estimating the distance and time and direction based upon this. I certainly haven't figured out how exactly to use it, but it's kind of cool that it's bi-directional and it lights completely up with Loom. So I think that that's the most impressive thing, is like when you come in from outside and you just imagine if you were just going in underwater, the whole thing just lights up like really nicely. Let's see if I can get that to, no, not really. Will maybe, no, doesn't really.
No, we'll have to try and get some pictures of that.
Yeah, yeah. Or I'll just go.
Oh no!
Mm,
There we go.
can you see it?
There you go. Hold it back a little bit more.
Well, maybe
Yeah.
we're seeing the light off of your
It's just
computer
the light.
screen.
Yeah, I
If you
don't.
hold it back farther, you can see it a bit, but not great.
It's not gonna work.
Camera can't catch it.
No. But anyway.
Let's just go with it. That's the most incredible loom. I've never seen anything like that.
Yeah. So it's pretty cool. I like it a lot. I think I could see it as like the vacation travel watch, because you can just forget about it and enjoy it and wear it in all conditions. And it also comes with the other strap,
It's sick.
the rubber-ish strap, rubber nylon-y fabric strap. I haven't even tried it on yet. So yeah, what do you think? Talk amongst yourselves, and I'll pop this one on.
I don't know about you, Danny, but I'm a big fan. That's like one of the watches that, like, I know we talked about quite a few times in the past, but it is like it's just like it's just beautiful. Like, I don't even know what else to say. It's just so sick. I love like it's got like, and the loom, and like there's so many, I think, just cool parts about it, like what it's used for and what it's made for. But yeah, what about you?
No, I like it a lot. I had this like feeling when it first came out that Tudor had been on a roll, like releasing pretty much like solid product after solid product, and in a way, for me, it almost got lost in the grouping of releases over the last, say, like 2 years. But then it started to like catching my eye more and more. And then when I heard the news that Steve picked one up, I started diving into it and learning a lot more about it. And I decided, like after seeing the super up close photos of the dial and seeing the texture on the dial, seeing the texture on the hands, seeing the way the loom is placed in on the markers, and then the way that the bezel counts the opposite direction, with 50 being where 10 should be, like all these little cool features that are specific to a job that the people who help design it would require. When they're incorporated so well, it makes it pretty interesting. So
yeah, so I got
like
the NATO off, and you can see the case back here. You can kind of barely make it out with the case back sticker.
It's there, yeah.
That's a good one. MN2 in 22.
Oh yeah,
It's pretty.
yeah, I
neat.
can see and all that.
It feels like it's a modern day mill sub, like what they were like, because this is actually purpose built for a real actual job. Apparently, it's not exactly as the Marine Nationale versions came out as. In fact, I think the main difference was just the dial was a little bit cleaner. There's less text on the dial, but I think it's super cool, even if it's slightly off. It's like getting a GT3 RS, and you're not quite there at an like a cup car or a club sport or anything like that, but I think it's pretty dope. So there you go.
Yeah, that's very
I
cool.
really like it. Like, let's do.
Cool.
I think
Yeah,
that
congratulations.
thanks. I think the classic look is with the NATO, but I could see this would be like what you'd wear if you went in the water, really. think that
It's a
Navy
Mhm.
is more what
Yeah.
you'd wear on a daily basis and kind of show off that it is actually a Marine National. This is kind of a cool look that I think I'd wear this one diving or in the water.
Which is more comfortable.
You know, they're both really comfortable. I have a feeling because this one feels a little bit more rubbery. This one would probably get a little bit annoying to do it daily because I think it would probably get a little bit sticky.
Yeah.
There's only a certain amount of stickiness that I can take throughout the day. But I like it a lot. It's nice to know that you've got both options. It would be nice to have a bracelet because it's got the fixed bars. They didn't develop one, and for the price point, I think that it would drive up the price. And I think that this is a pretty approachable one where it came in at like 4,500. So to me,
Mm.
that's like, I mean, I lost money on the 925 silver. I think that this is worth all the money. I'd have
Mm.
buy it any day, whether I'd let go of the FXD or let go of the 925 or not. But to me, this is like, I mean, I think that this is more functional than a Black Bay 58 for me because I could wear other things like a sub or um, I don't know, like a G-Shock or something like that I want a daily if I want to have a bracelet, but I don't have anything that's like on a strap, like this kind of a strap, like a NATO strap. I've got this on a leather strap with the Cartier. This is another nice fit that's like if you're gonna go somewhere summery or out warm, I think this would be pretty cool to wear.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I like it a
Yeah.
lot. I wasn't sure initially, and then the moment I came in from out of the sun, and I was like, "Oh shit, this thing completely lights up, and it looks so cool." And when you're doing work on whatever, like I was just like washing my car, and like I was looking down at it and just seeing that full bezel, it just looks so good. And the blue is really nice. It's got this nice flat kind of appearance that you don't quite appreciate on camera or on the photos, but it's pretty cool.
Mhm.
Mhm.
When you were considering purchasing that watch, what was the main driving force? Was it um the like financial speculation, or was it
No,
out
I
of
honestly
more
didn't
of
even
a
check.
passion for it?
When the 925 came up, I had to do a quick check and see what the market was like. But this is like, I just want it because
Yeah.
it's got this military background and really like what watches currently have a military background or could be used in the field that's still like an analog kind of mechanical watch, right? Nowadays. So the fact that this is like a modern day Marine National, knowing how cool those watches are, the Tudor Snowflakes, I think this is like the modern Snowflake, really. And it actually probably has more tool and sporty application than the Rolex Submariner, right? I mean, that's nice and blingy and sharp and looks really cool. And it immediately catches your eye and you're like, wow, that's so beautiful. Whereas this one's like, wow, that would be really cool to go jump in the sea and like join the Navy and harpoon a guy. And I don't mean that sexually. I mean, you know, there were probably you could have taken that differently, but you know, no
What we
harpoon.
know about Steve's knowledge on things like special forces or marine military operations is that he thinks that they use spear guns on people.
Well,
So that's
as
what
I
we
said,
just
you could
learned.
take harpoon a guy a little bit of a different way, especially in the Navy.
Yeah. What's harpoon guy again? The I like the way that I something I noticed when I was looking at that dial up close and looking at the date window is the
No
way
date
that the
window.
date is. Is there no date window on
There's
that?
no date window. That's the other great thing about it. It is full tool watch. There is no date.
What the hell was I looking at that had the date
That's the
window in it?
great thing about it. I mean, remember we were talking about the Tudor Pelagos, and I believe that the regular one comes with a date, doesn't it? I think it does.
Mm, I'm easily confused.
I can't remember.
There's so many iterations that Tudor now has.
Yeah.
Yes, the Tudor Pelagos regular is with date, but the 39 that we just talked about, which I still stand strongly, actually, that's a good question. I mean, I actually was talking about this with my kind of sales associate who helps me with this. and we were like, 39 or FXD. I'd take the FXD all day long. But here we've got the Pelagos LHD. They both have the date window here at 3 o'clock. The LHD actually looks kind of cool because it has like that red sub appearance with the red font and the red date window as well. But the 39 has the red text with no date. I mean, it's really cool. I mean, I think this is more trying to be a modern sub, whereas the FXD is more trying to be a new iteration of the Snowflake Marine Nationale. So I think it's cool. So
Yeah.
I don't see it ever leaving my collection, honestly.
Yeah, that's the one that I would have picked out of that lineup as well.
It's
I don't blame you. That's a beautiful watch, man.
Thanks.
I think
Appreciate
I
it.
so.
hope you wear it with pride.
Yeah.
Will. No, I totally will. And the great thing is, like, just there aren't too many watches where I feel really confident just throwing it right on my wrist for any kind of activities. But I know that this thing just is always solid and sitting right on my wrist, and I don't have to worry about it too much. So I think that it's a great daily watch, especially for doing real man activities.
Totally.
Most
You
of
could
what I
also,
do daily
lift-
is not a real man activity, but for the occasions when I do things that are real man like activities,
Yeah, of course, like cycling
harpooning
to
a
work.
guy, that's when I got to put it on.
When you have to explore certain parts of the male body.
That's
The other great part is with the fixed lugs on there is you can go full Flava Flav if you want. Throw it on a chain, let it dangle.
Yeah.
Just put it in my mouth like grills. Yeah, it's really
That's cool.
it's kind of gratifying just being able to just slip either strap on. That's
Yeah,
not
that's so
phrasing
cool.
that I think needs to be more carefully
You
thought
should
out.
you should
Whenever I'm slipping
re-emphasize
that
that.
strap on to harpoon a guy, I got my
There's nothing like the
dude.
feeling of slipping into a strap on
Yeah.
while harpooning.
And harpooning a guy. Mhm. The question really is, which strap on will I take?
Believe it or
For
not, we
water
all have.
repellent, I would recommend for water sports, but each his own.
You don't have to
That's the
change this.
one.
You don't have to change the sheets. This already has rubber straps. Yeah.
Oh
So
shit, I put it on the wrong way. Fuck sakes.
yeah.
Clasp is N-word.
Well, that's how you know you're having a good time. Multitasking's a myth. So what's next on the agenda there, Doctor?
Well, I think that we should probably chat a little bit about some news, as in news. How about the volcano cricket? If I can get this stupid thing to pop out of the way. No, it's not happening.
Yeah, well,
Okay.
congratulations to
Great.
both you guys on your new watches.
Thank you.
I'm excited to see yours when it shows up there, Peter.
Me as well.
Yeah, I'm really excited.
And what's this we got going on here,
This is the
Steve?
volcano cricket. It's something that was previously around quite a while ago that used to make this really interesting mechanical alarm sound. And they've gone up in price, the old ones, but they reintroduced these in the modern day. So I think that they're kind of interesting looking if you wanted a modern kind of vintage looking watch. To me, I don't know if it really appeals to my aesthetic, but I think the one that really does stand out in the bunch that's like, pretty much the color of the moment would be the salmon dial. Just what it drew me previously to the salmon dial of the Hodinkee Zenith Chrono Sport. Was it Chrono Sport? It was Zenith Chrono. Yeah. So what do you guys think? I feel like this might be a little bit more outside of our usual aesthetic, but I think that I really wanted to get Daniel's impression here. Would you want?
Would you mind opening up one of the other dials for us so we could see maybe a couple of the other color options here?
Here's a lovely wrist like yours.
That's a very, very beautiful wrist for clearly the wrist of a piano player or a pianist even. And I think I have mixed feelings about it.
Yeah, me too.
Kind of reminds me of an Oris. Um in quite a
Yeah,
lot of
big
ways.
pointer.
But I don't know. I think I would have to digest this one a little bit. Maybe get my hands on one before I give a definitive opinion. I know usually I can be quite strongly opinionated, potentially polarizing even. But
What?
Yeah.
Fuck out of here.
but on this one, I may reserve my opinion for now. I think it's interesting that it's being marketed here as either a woman or a child's watch. I can't tell.
Well, if you look at the other
Mm.
hand, it's sporting a pretty intense set of rings.
Look at the size of that hand though, compared to the wrist that it's holding.
It is true.
Looks gigantic.
It's a gigantic woman.
Looks like it's a mother holding a child's arm.
Yeah, it almost does.
But-
That's a fair point.
It's weird. So
This person.
I think I like the idea of marketing watches to any gender and not predetermining whether or not it's masculine, feminine, or whatever you may want to call it. But yeah, okay. After all that rambling, I'm gonna have to pass. And
I
reserve
do
judgment
like
for later.
this little navy one with the gold indices. It does look
Yeah,
less jarring as like the other ones were probably trying too hard to be like a reissue and be super vintagey looking. Whereas this one looks like it's more becoming its own. But as I said, I think there's a lot of Oris and a lot of big pointer vibes, especially the red hand. So
I like this color combination
yeah,
quite a lot.
Good.
That's an attractive piece there.
I mean, at this price point, I think you'd basically be going up against my watch, this FXD. This would be a no-brainer, but not really. I think these are totally different kinds of watches. I think this is for someone who wants something that looks quite vintage and it's quite dainty, like 36 millimeters. But
Yeah, different target market. That's for sure.
definitely.
Mhm.
Yeah. What do you think, Peter?
I like it. I think like personally dial wise, I kind of like that salmon one or the like darker navy one with the gold numbers there. But it's cool. I mean, like you said, it's kind of like a blast from the past kind of thing. It sounds kind of interesting with the cricket calling alarm. I'd like to hear that. It sounds almost like it's got I honestly don't know. I have to do a little bit more research on it, but that sounds kind of interesting. I
It
think
literally sounds like a cricket as an alarm.
yeah, that's what I
That's why
thought.
it's called the cricket. Yeah.
I think that'd be unique. It'd be something kind of cool to have in a collection. Like you said, like price point wise, I mean, it is like a little bit more up there kind of thing, but
Yeah.
it all depends on what you're looking for. I think that's one of the biggest things. It's like they're all cool, but I mean, is it something that you want to fill that void in your collection kind of thing, right? Or is it something that you would look to fill a void in your collection? I mean, no one, I don't know. I mean, no one probably has a watch that makes a cricket sound, but is it worth $5 or $6 grand? That's the best question. But I think it's cool otherwise. I mean, I don't know too much about the brand personally, so I can't say really much more than that.
Let's jump to car news. I think this one is pretty topical considering we were previously talking about whether I should get an STO or not. As an update, I was just thinking it was a pretty interesting possibility to pursue with the STO. So the STO is like the most race kind of oriented, naturally aspirated V10 before they all go to some sort of augmentation. And so the current rumors are that the next Huracan will have twin turbo V8 with hybrid boost. That apparently the turbo doesn't kick in until 7,000, so it I guess gives you that last oomph right at the top. Which I wonder, like, do you really want that? And so it's a lot of power already as it is. But just when I think about naturally aspirated engines, at least my experience with a high performance NA like the GT3 RS, those would always really zing at the top. I can't imagine turbos kicking in right at the top and then just like banging off the rev limiter. But I'm sure it sounds really interesting, but I don't know if it's the right way that I'd want to be focusing my garage in. I understand that this is kind of the future of where we're heading, given all of the future regulations that are going to be in place. But I don't know. I think that we've kind of missed the boat now. I think that the high watermark point at Lamborghini is like currently, and unfortunately has already passed, because I did reach out to the dealer and they said that they're no longer even considering any further allocations moving forward, because they've just over stretched themselves for V10s for all Huracan iterations, STO, Technica, and everything. So you just can't get them. And so I was just told, nope. And I was like, well, just let me know. I'm sure that some people will fold because of the luxury tax, but yeah, I heard nothing back from them ever since, and it certainly didn't leave much of a good impression at all. I was like, I'm happy to come by and talk to you, and we can also talk about cars that I could potentially trade, but yeah, nothing. Pretty unenthused with that kind of a response, and I think that the boat of me ever being a Lamborghini guy has definitely sailed. But
Yeah.
that's,
See how that would leave a bad taste in your mouth.
yeah, I don't think that I'm going in that direction, and I certainly wouldn't buy like a pre-owned one. Like they were trying to push a black STO that was out on one of the dealership floors that had probably been owned for 1 second and then turned around and flipped, and I think they wanted something like 600-700 grand. So I was just like, no thanks, I'm good.
Yeah, it's a bit much.
Yeah, when you
Well,
get to that point, you're getting into like crazy collectibles. You're just paying hype prices, so that's not for me.
yeah. Well, that's too bad.
It's all good.
What so instead of talking about these Lamborghinis that suck, why don't we talk about, for a moment, something that might be coming your way? Any updates with you on any potential car deliveries in the future?
Yeah, I've got G-Wagon coming in. Well, it actually already has arrived. That was actually in the context of the luxury tax that I was like sweating it. So in Canada, the luxury tax had been kind of snuck into the most recent budget, and nobody thought it was coming. And then suddenly it just got approved, and then it put into effect on September 1st, and everyone had to scramble. My car was like barely coming in at that time, and I had to beg, and luckily just got in under the wire and paid for it, registered and insured it, and so I'll actually be like collecting it on October 1st. So yeah, looking forward to
Oh,
it.
awesome. Well, that's something to look forward to.
Yeah, I think it'll be kind of cool, but question is like, how long would it stay as a permanent piece in the collection? I think it's nice to know that I got in before everything went crazy and the luxury tax drove it up. From what I hear, people are going to pay in BC 35% for one of those, which is just insane.
Yeah.
Especially when we know that there's so many more interesting SUVs coming around the corner. But yeah, I think that's kind of like really something that I'm looking forward to, and that's the car that I always butcher its name. It's the Puro Sang. Why do I always sound like I'm saying it with the
Puro
Chinese?
Sangue.
Puro Sangue, but I always say Puro Sangue.
I'm psyched for that.
I think that's pretty cool. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's right here. This is actually kind of a weird computer graphic, but it's running the V12 6.5 liter, and it's running 715 horsepower. And to me, it actually looks pretty cool. It still looks like an SUV to me, but it looks pretty impressive. And it's nice to know that the V12 is really not significantly changed. There was mention though of it being like having electric or hybrid augmentation, but I believe that the electric augmentation is with regards to its suspension,
Mhm.
where it can like make immediate momentary adjustments to the suspension, so that it's like always hard cornering flat, not requiring any anti-roll bars. So it's kind of like an ultimate adaptive suspension. I don't know exactly how it works, but it's kind of interesting. But yeah, initially the reports were that the 812 was going to be the last naturally aspirated V12. So it's makes me kind of hopeful that maybe we haven't completely lost the V12, and maybe I've got an opportunity in the future. So this it'd be kind of interesting to have, just like the G-Wagon would be kind of interesting to have, but would it be one that would stay with me forever? Like the Ferrari F430 stick? I don't know. I think it'd be kind of an interesting short-term experience, just like the Tudor Silver 925. It's not one that necessarily stays forever.
I think that once you have a Ferrari V12 and having access to that orchestra on demand, and this beautiful cacophony, this Italian symphony blaring out of your car at, you know, at your whatever whim. For me, it would be very difficult to part with that once you have it,
Yeah.
because just the sound of a Ferrari V12 is so intoxicating, you
Yeah.
know, like it really is, you know, like music to my ears and to a lot of people's ears as well. And that car, you know, like it's not a full size SUV,
Hmm.
you know. It's a small kind of crossover.
Hmm.
And I love that Ferrari's done that.
I think it is
Like,
two
they
tons
haven't
still.
tried to make it huge. You know, they made it basically as big as big as it has to be what it is, and then kept it as small as possible, you know, and I think it looks like super sexy.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, I think they've done a really good job, and it certainly appeals to me way more than the Urus Performante, which really just I honestly can't even press play on any of the videos to indulge it. But this to me looks and reminds me a lot of Aroma, and you know, having driven the Roma, I think that it's heading in the right direction. If you have to have one Ferrari and you have to be off road, and I mean, and have to have a Ferrari, I don't think that anyone has to be in that situation who's that privileged. But if you wanted it, it's certainly available there, and I think it's pretty cool. So I mean, I've got my deposit down. I think it'd be pretty cool to own. But I mean, if say for example the values on these were just crazy, and they were like, you know, you could trade it in. We could maybe give you an 812 Competizione. Be like, I think I'll take the 812, but
Yeah.
that's all very hypothetical. The other thing that is kind of scratching in the back of my mind is like, how does that overlap with all the rest of movement in the garage? But I think it's nice to have the deposit down and have the opportunity to take a strike at it. But I think it's pretty cool.
Hmm.
Yeah.
I would want to pursue it.
Yeah,
Let's
of course you would.
100%.
The V12. Yeah. And
Yeah.
when you said cacophony, I knew immediately that you were ready. You were
Oh
sold.
yeah. Oh
I
yeah.
know only brings out the fancy flowery words for the really wants to puro sang. I think that when I texted you about it, it was the perp sang, which I think it sounds way better. Perp sang. Sounds
Perp
more,
sang.
you know, like what Travis Scott would be driving. I could
Is
do
that what happens when, like, at a talent show in prison? Is like the perp sang?
No, I'm thinking more like Purple Drank.
Oh yeah, give me that purple stuff.
Perp sang way.
The perp sang way.
It's probably something Peter would drink one day if it was on sale for like $8 or something.
Yeah, the perp sang way. I can see
Yeah.
it.
I got some fizzy and some perp sangway.
Fizzy and the perp sang way.
So I had to switch the FXD back to the strap. I gotta say the strap feels way better. So I think
Okay.
the like the NATO with the Velcro is what I prefer. But I think that the other iteration with the rubber strap is pretty cool to have as like if you're going to go in the water, I'd probably wear that. But I think
Sure.
this pretty much does it all. It also has like elastic to it, I think, so it has some give. So
Mm,
it's pretty awesome, and you can always adjust it. It's nice. It's way more forgiving than like a leather strap or a metal bracelet. So I'm pretty much sold for these things. I think that this
that's
is
awesome.
the one for me. And the
Perfect for people like you where your wrists and ankles swell quite a lot.
that's right. Yeah, my heart failure always gets the best of me. I think the one that is most important is just it's the image of it as well, like the aesthetic, because the original Marine Nationals had this gray stripe right in the middle. So this
Mm,
kind of maintains that kind of look that the old snowflakes used to. So it'd be kind of nice to have a Tudor Snowflake Marine National, but for the prices, I'd rather have this one for 4,500. I think it's nice that Tudor is kind of bringing these forward, where it's like, you could have a Tudor Pro for 90% of the experience of a Steve McQueen Explorer 2 1875, I think, is the model, and then versus you could take this FXD Marine Nationale, and you don't need to spend whatever 25 grand on a Tudor Snowflake um, original one. But I think that I'd choose obviously the original if I could, but for the price point, it's pretty great. It's unbeatable. So
mhm. Yeah, that's
anyway,
very nice.
I think that I've had enough updates to my collection. I want to thank you all for tuning in, Chris, and maybe one other person. And
Yeah, I'm pretty sure El Bamish is out there. Maybe B May, a
oh
few
yeah,
other people.
B May,
B
El
May,
Bam,
what it is.
what it is. All right, boys. Cheers. Thanks
All
again.
right.
Have a great
Have a
evening.
good night.